Hey, it's Black Witch S, and thanks for joining me again. So tonight I'm going to be talking to you about the swifting spell. I've alluded to this in a couple of the videos that I've been doing this month. And so I thought that I would share with you how to do swifting. So apart from everything that I've said in the other videos about swifting, why swifting is important is to remove the old negative energy out of your life so you can allow new energy into your life. So swifting can be done by many different ways, or the clearing of energy can be done with various ways. For example, when I use my magic practices, I make sure if I'm doing a spell or I'm pushing energy out there onto another person, I have to make sure that there's going to be a clear passage between when it leaves me and when it receives the target. Okay, so if there's any blockages in that way, we need to be able to swift or remove those blockages so the impact of the magic can be full force. You need 3 candles. So I'm going to talk to you about candles just for a second. I'm going to ask you to get a black, a brown, and a white candle. Now, props are really important because it helps us visualize and get into state. But just understand that old school witchcraft, firstly, didn't use props, so let's take that out of the argument. And secondly, using colored candles wasn't really popular until quite recently. So if you do not have a black, a brown candle, you've only got white, like I'll use in this demonstration, then that is okay. Remember, the most important aspect is your visualization and what that candle represents. Now, for me personally, I don't need any props these days. When I do use props, it's because I like playing witch too. I like using lots of different stuff. It makes me feel good. I love creating potions and things like that. It makes me feel good. But if I'm really angry and I need to do something, I don't need anything, okay? Because the power's already within me, right? It's here and it's here. That's all I need. But sometimes I like to play around. And if I don't have the exact candles, remember I'm on my month of no spell casting, I'm having a break, then I'm not going to have all my tools and equipment because I'm on the road. If I do need something, there's no problem just using whatever's in your current environment, so long as you know what that represents. And what the black candle will represent is the negativity that's currently in your life or that's not serving you, okay? The next candle that you'll have is a brown candle. Brown, which means a transformation candle. Now, you probably can't see, no, you can't see it. I've actually got the imprint of my pentagram in there. And this pentagram actually flows on the side. If you've seen the logo of my Black Magic Witch store, the pentagram is on the side because, remember, I don't believe in energy being negative or positive. Energy flows where energy goes. So my pentagram is on the side, meaning that I'm not following any belief on black or white, seeing that I'm Black Witchess. And then, of course, the last candle is the white candle. And guess what white is? It's a new beginning. It's a fresh start. It's what you want your life to be moving forward. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you now about this spell, and as I'm working it, I'll give you some more instructions about why swifting is essential and the do's and don'ts. So all you need is your cookie sheet that's what I'm using here, your candles, which I discussed. The type of salt that you used isn't as important as with the candles. It's really about the intention. But even though I'm using garlic salt here in the video, I really actually recommend table salt. It's much easier when you do it with table salt. I'm just I just don't have all the ingredients with me when I'm traveling, and I'm just making do with what I have. So I'm going to have to shape this into the shape using the garlic salt. And if I had table salt, I would just be able to pour it straight out of the bottle and make these lines much cleaner, and it would be much easier to do. But bear with me, I'll show you how to shape it with some garlic salt, which could be good for energy vampires anyways. And it just depends on what type of removal you're doing or swifting you're doing. But remember, you can't go wrong. And so let's just talk about some of the nuances of a swifting. So the first thing I wanted to say to you, that it doesn't matter when you're working this spell. You don't have to wait for a particular phase of the moon, and you don't have to wait for a specific day of the week. This is going to work regardless. It is foolproof. You can't screw it up. And in saying that, it can get screwed up if you're doing it for someone else, because you need the power of your own emotional state to remove the toxicity from the situation. So you're going to be more passionate about your situation than what you'll be about a friend situation or a client situation. So even if you're a magic practitioner and you're doing this for somebody else, a spell for somebody else, get them to do the swifting themselves. It is far more effective and far more powerful indeed. So as you can see now, I have a clean line that goes from the white candle out to the side of the board with an arrowhead, and I've encased the arrowhead in its protective salt circle. So let's move on to writing the magical intention on a piece of paper. So you can write on the paper whatever you'd like to remove. It can, if you want to create new energy in your life, you can write anything on this paper. For example, you could be swifting to remove your old thoughts about money out of the way, so you can have these new thoughts and new ideas about money coming into your life. Could be about a new job or love or protection or good health. But because we're talking about swifting negative energy and breaking curses, we could write good fortune on our piece of paper. And once you've written what your desire is, or what you wanted to bring into your life and remove out of your life on the paper, you're going to fold the paper into thirds and then fold that third into thirds again. So I'll try and demonstrate it here while I'm shooting the video. It's not easy to do while you're making a video. So folded it into thirds, and then you fold it into thirds again. And then I'm going to place it inside the salt circle, directly on top of the arrowhead. Then I'm going to ground and center and really get focused on my magical intention. So after I've meditated and focused on my magical intention, I'm going to prepare to light the candle, so I'm going to swift the energy. Now I've removed the little tokens, papers from under the candles, but I already know what these candles symbolize. I just don't want the paper catching on fire under my candle. So I'm going to light the first candle, the black candle, and I'm going to focus on all the nasty energy coming my way. I'm going to call this candle, for example, negativity. I'm going to see all the harm it's done, all the trouble it's caused, and feel my personal misery because of all this negativity in my life. And then I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to feel anger. And I'm not just going to become angry, I'm going to become furious, really pissed off. I'm going to, if it's something that, for example, you've tried to do a spell and it hasn't worked in the past, and you've been living with these issues for a long time, you're going to be really angry. So now is the time to scream and get angry and do whatever you need to do to help you get into state. And you're going to call that candle what it is. Is it negativity? You might have a different word for this candle, but you're going to really get angry at all the destruction this candle's done in your life. This energy's done in your life. The next, you're going to light the brown candle. Now, this is your candle for transformation. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly, and you're going to release every particle of anger from your body. And when detachment takes over, and it will, I want you to feel the weight of your personal burdens lighten, and then begin to transform into something neutral. This is why we're calling this candle transformational. Right, you can take your time lighting these candles. You don't have to rush it through. I'm just doing a video for you, so I'm pushing this a little bit faster. But this whole thing can take as long as you need it to take. Now, the last candle is your white candle, and what this represents is the new energy. So you're going to see the new energy transformation process as complete by the lighting of this candle. There is nothing left but clear, bright, raw, pure energy now. Energy which you can use to manifest your new desires. So you can call this new energy, you can call this candle whatever you like. But this is a candle for representing the change and the new energy coming in. Okay. Now that all your candles are lit, with your eyes, follow the salt line from the candle to the circle and focus on the paper with all your intention. Visualization is very important here, for you've got to be able to see your desires coming into fruition. You've got to see your luck changing. You've got to see your life becoming yours again. You've got to see your spells working, or the spell that you want working, actually working. You've got to be able to feel as if these have already manifested now. So in your visualizations, you feel what it's like for this to have manifested. And then you're going to light the paper and set it in the middle of the salt circle on the arrowhead and wait till it burns. If any of the paper doesn't burn, it's okay to relight it. If the candles blow out during this spell, you will not relight the candle. I repeat, you do not relight the candles during the swifting spell. You just leave them out. It won't affect the swifting. It just means that the candle went out, and most probably because of an air bubble in the candle. So remember, the only important thing is that the paper completely burns down to ash, and no part of the paper is actually still intact. That's inside the salt circle. So, a variation on the swifting spell. Sometimes people will wait until the candles melt before lighting the paper. I personally like to set it all up, set the candles alight, and then light the paper in the ash and let the candles and the energy of the candles swift my intention on to where it needs to be, and that's the negative energy away from me. But remember that the variation is that you can wait till the candles melt completely and extinguish themselves, and then the last part of the spell you actually light the paper. Now, and as you can see, I'm just burning a little bit more of the paper that didn't burn. It doesn't affect the spell at all. Now let me give you two variations you might like to try. The first variation is to wait until the 3 candles burn down to the cookie tray and extinguish before lighting of the paper. For this reason, you want to make sure the candles are small candles so you're not waiting around too long.
Secondly, you might want to use your hands to signify the swifting of the energy. So to say a little incantation as you're swifting the negative energy away and over the salt for the purification and removal. That's totally up to you. And remember what I said at the beginning was it doesn't matter. You can't screw this up. Just follow this very simple process and modify it as you feel comfortable. What I'll show you next is what to do when the candles actually do burn down and how to do the most important part of this spell, which is the burial of all these ingredients. So when the ashes are cool, just gather them together with the salt and all the remnants of the wicks and the wax if there's any. And we're going to bury these items outdoors. Now you can choose to bury them in a potted plant or you can just bury them in the ground. It really doesn't matter. But it is the burying of the items, perhaps, that's the most important part of this spell because it acts to ground the magic. And once it's done, things begin to change immediately. There's absolutely no waiting period for the magical effects to take effect as it happens with other spells. It's going to happen immediately. So all that's left now for you to do is decide how you're going to live your life and how you're going to make those changes so negativity doesn't creep back in for this specific problem. Blessed be everyone, and good luck with your swifting.